So human hunting is a thing, and one of the biggest places, and it's gone on throughout history. And I'm bringing this up because one of the houses, the Hillsborough, well, you had to see my last video if people are confused. Hillsborough, California, where one of Musk's biggest mansions was. He did end up selling that, apparently. Oh, excuse me. I work nights, so I'm up late. Hillsborough is an incorporated town in San Mateo County in California, United States, in the San Francisco Bay Area. It is located 17 miles south of San Francisco on the San Francisco Peninsula, bordered by Burlingame to the north, San Mateo to the east, Highlands Baywood Park to the south, and Interstate 280 to the west. The population was 11,387 at the 2020 census. So just so people are aware, it's gone on throughout history. Human hunting refers to human being hunting and killed for other people's revenge, pleasure, entertainment, sports, or sustenance. Historically, incidents of the practice have occurred during times of social upheaval. So this is Hillsborough, okay? The San Mateo in San Francisco, or San Mateo. And it has an interesting history because of, bones being found there by indigenous people. And you know, this is what I hate about your Gavin Newsoms and your DEI people, is because they place every white person or American in that group. And this is really an elite problem. It's a problem that globalists tend to have because they're about depopulation. Some accounts of early, and I'm going to get to why this is significant. Some accounts of early human violence associate the development of warfare, aggression against humans with the practice of hunting game. In 2016, Daniel Wright, senior lecturer in tourism at the University of Central Lancashire, wrote a paper on the possible future of tourism where he discussed how the hunting of the poor, hunting humans, could become a hobby of the super rich in a future plagued by economic turmoils, ecological disasters, and global overpopulation. The other thing about Hillsborough is they represent a natural habitat for many species of animals, including mountain lions. Mountain lions are known to live and roam in the green belt that surround Hillsborough. Mountain lions' primary prey is deer, although they have also been known to attack many of the animals captured on our trail cameras as well as pets. Mountain lions are generally solitary, elusive, and avoid human contact, but there has been incidents. Now, with the history here with Hillsborough, the community in Hillsborough was formed by families who built summer homes to escape the fog and to enjoy gracious living and entertaining, far from the grit of urban living. Although the residents' names and industries have changed in the last century, from mining and transportation in the early days to new entertainment-related businesses, specialty retail businesses, and biotech businesses in the 21st century, the essence of the community has not changed. Hillsborough continues to be a place where titans of industry enjoy the good life, gracious country living with a generous and civic-minded community. So this is from the Olone House, Nature's Bounty at the San Mateo County History Museum. So what this says is there were partial skeletons found of a young Olone Indian was found while excavating an area for a reflecting pool that was being constructed for a mansion on El Cerrito Road in Hillsborough. It was initially thought that the remains might be those of possible a homicide victim, and the police were called to investigate. They in turn contacted the San Mateo County coroner, who called 2 archaeologists from San Jose State University. The bone fragments consisted of a skull, hand, and rib that belonged to a male who was determined by archaeologists to have been about 14 years old at the time of his death, which was about 900 years ago. Archaeologist Jeff Hall stated at the time that more than 400 Ohlone archaeology sites have been recorded in San Mateo County, and at least 100 of them have contained human remains. After the bones were identified as belonging to an Ohlone, which the native tribe, they were placed in a paper bag and reburied with tobacco in a burial ceremony that was conducted by Kenny Marquis, the director of the Ohlone Cultural Institute of San Jose. The ceremony was attended by 80 students from a nearby South school and was documented in several newspapers. Ohlone shelters, which are no longer standing in Hillsborough, the first residents in what would become to be known as Hillsborough, were dome-shaped houses made of woven tulle reeds covering a wood frame, which were the homes of Ohlone native tribes. These indigenous people were hunters and gatherers who lived in harmony with nature, existing on what they could. Despite the years that have passed since then, they continue to maintain a distant presence, occasionally making an unexpected skeletal appearance during renovations, building, or other disturbances to the terrain. And it says on here, during the California genocide of 1846 to 1873, indigenous people were hunted down and killed for bounties. Well, yeah, by the elite. Stop blaming the American citizens, because that's who's always behind it. During the Spanish Civil War of 1936 to 1939, the killing practice became popular among the sons of wealthy landowners. The hunts took place on horseback and targeted landless peasants as an extension of the White Terror. They were jokingly referred to as Reforma Agria, referencing the mass graves of the victims they would dump. Between 1971 and 1983, serial killer Robert Hansen flew many of his victims into Alaskan wilderness, then released them so that he could hunt the women with a rifle and a knife. So there's just many, many different accounts of this. So I just think it's interesting, because if you know anything about these elites, this is what they do. It's gone on throughout history, and because they're about depopulation, because again, they worship the land, but it's more in a gluttonous, greedful way, they just go after the poor, anybody that's not them. And yet the history behind this area, and then Elon Musk, you know, having a house there, and then he had in LA all these other houses that there's no doubt he was going to dig tunnels, and yet near P. Diddy. And I think it's interesting that the same time that Diddy was buying mansions, or buying a mansion in the same area, so was Elon Musk. So, because I already showed in my last video how these are like 7 minutes apart from the like 6 mansions that Elon Musk owned. In 2024, Elon Musk reportedly bought a secret mansion shortly after selling all his possessions and publicly vowing will own no home. Yeah, he's not going to live in a box. He does care about money. It's very simple. They're all covering for each other.